Hey there everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're like me, you've probably been waiting for Deadpool and Wolverine to team up for what feels like forever. And now that we finally got the movie we've been dreaming of, well, something was just a little off, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool and Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, that's a power couple we didn't know we needed. But if you've seen the movie, I bet you're asking the same question I am. What was missing? Because there's a lot that could have made this movie an instant classic. So, let's dive into what we loved, what could have been better, and the parts that just didn't sit quite right with us. Ready? Let's go. Okay, before the movie came out, the hype was real. I mean, Deadpool, the king of breaking the fourth wall, and Wolverine, the ultimate tough guy with a heart of gold. This was supposed to be a match made in Marvel heaven. Instead, we got something that felt like it was this close to greatness, but missed the mark in a few areas. So what were we hoping for? Well, for starters, we wanted that classic Wolverine and Deadpool banter. The constant back and forth insults, the reluctant teamwork, and of course some insane action scenes. Did we get some of that? Sure, but did it reach its full potential? Not really. It's like going to a pizza party and only getting one slice. You're happy, but you know you deserve more. Let's talk about character development for a second. Both Deadpool and Wolverine are super complex characters with tons of backstory. Deadpool, the unkillable, wisecracking anti-hero, is always making jokes to hide his pain. Wolverine? He's been through decades of torment and loss, but still manages to be the grumpiest hero with the biggest heart. But in the movie, they kind of felt one-dimensional. We didn't get to see those deeper moments that make them so interesting. Sure, there were jokes and some cool fights, but I wanted to see that emotional complexity. I mean, how cool would it have been to see a real bonding moment between these two? Like, imagine Wolverine opening up about all the people he's lost, and Deadpool, for once, dropping the jokes to actually listen. Now that would have hit hard. But nope, we mostly got snarky comments and a bit of bromance. Not that I'm complaining, I'm here for the bromance. But where were the feels? A superhero movie is only as good as its villain, right? But in this film, the bad guy felt more like a plot device than a real, threatening villain. It's like they forgot that Deadpool and Wolverine need someone who can actually challenge them. I mean, look at Deadpool's past villains. Ajax, Cable, these guys pushed him to his limits. And Wolverine? Dude fought Sabretooth and Magneto. But this time, the villain was meh. There wasn't enough weight to the conflict. We didn't feel like the stakes were high enough. And when your two leads are practically invincible, you need a bad guy who can really up the ante. The villain in this movie, not memorable at all. A better villain could have made the film legendary. Instead, we got, well, just another guy for Deadpool and Wolverine to beat up. Okay, let's talk action sequences. When you have Deadpool and Wolverine in a movie together, you expect epic fight scenes, right? Now, don't get me wrong. The fights we got were cool, but they didn't have that wow factor we were all hoping for. There wasn't that one jaw-dropping moment that made you go, holy crap, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Think about Wolverine's fight in Logan, or that highway scene in the first Deadpool movie. We needed something on that level, but with both of them fighting side by side, using their unique styles to absolutely wreck bad guys. But instead, we got standard action, some sword slashing, some claw slicing. It was fine, but nothing that'll be remembered in the Hall of Fame of superhero fight scenes. Now let's get into the story itself. This movie felt a bit like a series of events rather than a cohesive, well-thought-out narrative. It's like they were trying to cram in as many jokes, fights, and cameos as possible without really focusing on the plot. And don't get me wrong, I love Deadpool's humor and Wolverine's gruff attitude as much as anyone. But we needed a stronger story to tie it all together. The movie felt more like fan service than a meaningful story about these two iconic characters. And hey, fan service is fun, but you know what's better? Fan service with a solid story behind it, am I right? It's like they had all the right ingredients, but the recipe wasn't quite there. Okay, let's talk about Deadpool's signature move, breaking the fourth wall. We all know how much Deadpool loves to talk directly to us, the audience. In this movie, though, it felt like there wasn't enough of that. I mean, come on. How do you have Deadpool and Wolverine together and not have Deadpool comment on how Hugh Jackman played Wolverine for like 20 years? There were so many missed opportunities for hilarious meta moments. Deadpool could have made jokes about X-Men Origins, Wolverine, or even roasted the other superhero movies out there. We all know Deadpool's a master at poking fun at himself and everything around him, but in this movie, it felt like they toned it down, and that's a missed opportunity if I've ever seen one. Alright, I know I've been nitpicking, but let's not forget, there were things to love about this movie. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman's chemistry? Amazing. These two were born to play these roles. Their banter, the way they play off each other, and the fact that they clearly have so much fun doing it. It's infectious. You can't help but enjoy watching them together. The humor, still on point. Deadpool's jokes landed, and there were some genuinely laugh-out-loud moments. Wolverine's gruff, no-nonsense attitude worked perfectly as a counterbalance to Deadpool's chaotic energy. So, how could the movie have been better? Let's break it down. 1. A more memorable villain with real stakes. 2. Deeper character development. Show us the heart behind the snark. 3. Bigger, better, and more iconic action scenes. 4. A tighter, more engaging story that doesn't rely on cameos and jokes. 5. More fourth wall breaks. We need those meta jokes, people. Basically, we wanted this movie to be a mix of Logan's emotional depth and Deadpool's chaos. And while it got close, it didn't quite hit that sweet conclusion, still worth watching.